optimized my bottlenecks, removed redundant pointer checks. The database's subselects are indexed to a T. They shaved the microseconds down till there was nothing left to count. I instantaneously found the answer in a breeze. But I've been feeling so alone. Nobody here's calling me from a function or a phone. If I'm dead code, let me die. 'Cause I'm only
It's the Monday Morning Show. Today is February 23rd, 2015. That's Josh Woodward singing Dead Code. I'm Ken LaSalle. And yes, I am a bit under the weather. I hope you'll bear with me. You can find out more about Josh at joshwoodward.com. You can find out more about me at kenlasalle.com. Do you love America? Why? Or why not? Today's episode is mostly aimed at citizens of the United States. Do you love your country? Last week, Rudy 9/11 Giuliani claimed that President Obama doesn't love America. Then, to top that off, he said not only does President Obama not love America, but he's also been influenced by, cue the scary music, communism. Oh no, terror of terrors. As if that wasn't enough, Republicans started jumping on Giuliani's, let's call it a bandwagon? Daryl, I've got a criminal record, Isa, said that Giuliani is doing his country a service by telling everyone that its president hates America. Sure, that sounds healthy. Through all of this, however, the thing that has really caught my attention is this insistence, somehow, that we're supposed to love America, that we are somehow beholden to love America. Really? I'd like to throw a tangent out right here, but bear with me. This will help illustrate my point. My mom had problems with Skype this week. As a person in her 70s, she's not exactly great when it comes to computer problems, and that's how she got into trouble with Skype. When I went to her house to try to fix it, which I didn't, and she just had to end up setting up a whole new account, she and her husband were both wondering why Skype wasn't helping her. Why wasn't Skype fixing her problem? Why wasn't Skype there to help? The only thing I could do was remind them that they were both basically on their own. You see, most people of a certain age, old people, remember a day when Ma Bell existed. All the way up until the 70s, everyone used phones supplied by, serviced by, and run by the Bell telephone system. Ma Bell. Sure, they cost more, but they provided complete care, and they did it rather well. As someone who lived during that time, I could tell you that if you had a problem, Bell would fix it. They would do everything. You felt like you were well taken care of. The 70s were also a time when Ma Bell was being broken up. Politicians who were paid off by competing companies told us that more competition would be a better thing. So, Ma Bell was broken up, and we ended up with what we have today. 1,000,000 different companies with 1,000,000 different services for 1,000,000 different products that left us basically on our own. Have you ever tried to get help for your phone? Yeah. You're on your own. Then services like Skype came around. Services that were basically free for the most part. We didn't want to have to pay the money, so we ended up with services that were, well, horrible. But that's what we paid for, so that's what we got. If we wanted great service with great products, we would have paid for it. I've been thinking about that when it comes to our country, because that's how things have been for nearly 30 years. Most listeners may not remember this, but there was once a time when our government looked out for us, took care of us. It was their job to represent us. So, we ended up with some quality social services, great roads, adequate police service with cops who weren't totally overworked, prisons that weren't owned by companies who made money by keeping more people inside of them. Our schools were great, College was free for many people. Our food was protected. Our jobs were second to none because we had a strong middle class. What do we have now? We have a government that works for multinational corporations, foreign corporations. Their job isn't to represent us. It's to placate us while they're screwing us behind our backs. Social services are slashed while weapons contractors get all the money. Our roads are full of holes while infrastructure spending goes to oil companies so they can make more money selling filthy fossil fuels to other countries. Our police are so overworked and our teachers are so underpaid that our prison populations are skyrocketing as our school admissions dwindle. Colleges now profit off the back of student debt. Our food is shit, and our good jobs have been shipped overseas, so more and more people are forced to work multiple jobs that pay lousy wages. This is the country I'm supposed to love? Listen, if I had a car that never worked, you know what I'd do? I'd get another car, or I'd fix it. If I lived in a crummy neighborhood, you know what I'd do? I'd move to another neighborhood, or I'd fix it. The United States is no longer the great country it used to be. I don't care how many people we can bomb. Our choices are to move somewhere else. Sorry, Republicans, I'm not going to do that. Or, say it with me, fix it. Love America, Giuliani? You want me to love America? The same America your party has sold to the rats? The same country that your party has corrupted to the point where companies in other lands have more say than our citizens have? The problem with your assertion, Giuliani and Daryl I'm a Crook, Issa, and all you other Republicans, is that you seem to think that we have no right to want to fix things. We can either love it or leave it. Guess what? Now, I didn't vote for President Obama, but I would never agree with such an absurd claim that he doesn't love this country. No politician in modern times has taken as much abuse from this country as he does his job fixing it. Name any Republican politician who would stand idly by as so much hate is thrown his way, or who would grit his teeth and do his job even as his family is insulted, berated, and threatened. Has he made some decisions we may not agree on? Sure, absolutely, but guess what? That's his job. While the Republicans create a broad strategy of insulting anyone who dares try to fix this country, they only stand as examples of just why this country needs to be fixed. Because all those selfish, greedy bastards who pulled all the money out of our public schools and dumped it all into private schools that don't need to teach science, who cut taxes on companies that pollute and increased oil subsidies, who weakened our environmental and food protection while fighting against health care for all, who cheer when a cop shoots an innocent man and boo when anyone stands up for the innocent. They're not interested in fixing things. All they want is what they can get out of our nation. They want our money, our goods, our sweat, our blood. They want whatever they can get. They don't care about you. They just want your obedience. And if you don't give them that, you somehow don't love our country. But think just for a moment about which you would prefer. The person who insists they love you while robbing you blind, or the person who admits when there are problems and sticks around to fix them. What kind of love is really real? Anyway, remember that next election day. Remember it the next time some idiot defends a Republican. And smack 'em upside the head. But enough of such refuse. Let's talk about the cool thing for the week. This week is a good one as we're talking about fixing things. Today let's talk about an invention with the potential to help thousands, and maybe more, who need their back fixed. A recent article on Real Tech Today, I'll link it in the show notes, talks about a product called E-Dura that could possibly bring this extraordinary change about. An excerpt from the article reads, "Damage to the spinal cord is more and more common, and it's assumed that 60 to 80% of the adult population have pain in the lower part of their spine. And as the World Health Organization reported, 500,000 people every year gain such injuries. Often the reason for this type of damage include a long and poor seating, falls, accidents in which there's a violation of the nerves that pass through the vertebra, and most of the injuries occur in the lower part of the spine. In some extreme cases, it happens for the nervous pillar to be so damaged that people remain paralyzed and can't use or feel the lower part of their body. So far, there's no significant and effective treatment for this condition, or to help people suffering from these types of injuries to fully recover. A solution that promises a return of motor function in such patients could significantly improve their quality of life. The device is called E-Dura, and it is a combination of silicone, gold, platinum, and neurotransmitter chemicals. E-Dura is a device created by researchers at the Federal Polytechnic of Lausanne, Switzerland, who successfully restored motility in mice that have terminated backbone. They further demonstrated that this device doesn't harm the body, and the body accepts it as its own, and does not cause any additional damage to the spine as some other implants do. The device is flexible and is made of silicone, through which wires pass made of gold and platinum that make it flexible and make it able to continue with the work. Also, it allows the bending of the body and does not cause additional damage, playing coy on natural tissues. Clinical trials on humans will begin in June. I call that pretty cool. This episode is brought to you by my new book, Heaven Enough, from Limitless Publishing. You can buy it now for the Kindle, or in paperback, from Amazon, or from Barnes & Noble, for your Kobo. I'll put a link to it in the show notes, or you can find out more on kenlasalle.com or limitlesspublishing.net. And that's the Monday Morning Show for February 23rd, 2015. Be sure to check back next week for another episode. Head on down to kenlasalle.com for all the latest. You can find my ebooks, paperbacks, and audiobooks all over, etc., etc., etc. You have yourself a terrific week. Be good to yourself. Be kind to others. Let's make this world a better place.
Nobody here has called me from a function or a phone. If I'm dead code, let me die, 'cause I'm only wasting memory alive. If I'm dead code, wipe the drive, 'cause I'd rather be a memory than a ghost who's still alive.